Now, I always had this fear in me. You know, when President Salva Kiir, at some point he reached a stage where he can't stay for a week without issuing a presidential decree, removing officers from the army, ministers, members of parliament, people who heads government parastatals and all this kind of stuff. And at some point I became worried. And my worry is not on one thing, but is derived from so many things. One of the reasons why I was worried that the president is issuing decrees every day is that this move by the president actually weakens our institutions, because when you don't keep people like ministers for long in a specific government ministry, when you don't keep people like directors, undersecretaries, or people who heads government parastatals in that institution for quite long, you know, there's that tendency of them not developing systems. Systems are always developed in an institution when that specific institution is stable. And that institution can only be stable when they have stable leadership. Someone who stays there for quite long. The longer you stay, the well you become familiar with how the institution operates, and therefore you become exposed, and therefore you want to build a system that can be used to operate in that specific government institution. But in a scenario where we have 2-3 new leaders brought to an institution within a year or less, then we are weakening this institution. We bring new people to this institution who have new ideas, and before they make their ideas to a reality, they are taken out and the other person is brought into this institution, and the whole thing continues. The institutions become weak. That is one of my worry about this consistent issuing of decrees by the president. But another reason why I was worried every time when I see President Kiir issuing a decree is the fact that whereas the president might create friendship with the people that he appoints to these positions, it is also true that whereas he continues to build friendship by bringing in new people to serve in these positions, President Kiir is also creating enmities. He's creating more enemies for himself. How? He's doing that by removing people outside from this position. Anytime he removes a person and brings in a new person, he creates friendship, he makes a friend, but also he creates an enemy. An enemy is that person that he has taken out from that position, and the friend is the one that he has brought in to serve in that position. And the more people you bring in and the more people you take out, the more friends you create and more enemies you create at the same time. And we have seen this right from 2013. When he removed Paganamon, when Thomas Riro was removed, they all became against the government. And we have seen that in recent time that there are so many people who initially served in the SPLM party, who served in the South Sudan military, but right now, or today, they are completely against the government of Kiir. And this is a reality. Some of these people, some of these new political movements that we see them formed, that we see that some of these leaders that we see them defecting from the SPLM or from the government, they are formed mainly because President Kiir has deprived them of the opportunity to serve in the government, removed them out. And therefore, when I look at these people, I look at them as a big threat to the stability of South Sudan. I know we have a transitional government. We have a government as a result of the revitalized peace agreement that brought in different people that had different reasons of fighting the government. They're brought in government and they're working with the government right now. But also, we have to realize that there are still people outside there who oppose the government. There are still people outside there who are holding to just like be against the government of Kiir. And these people are the real threat to the stability of South Sudan. And when I'm talking about these people, I mean people like Pagana Mung Okech, Paul Malong Awan, Thomas Sirilo, Nyal Deng Nyal, and the recent guy who defected just the other day, Wilson Deng. So when we look at these people, that they're not part of the government, when we look that they are out there trying to strategize and look for ways on how they can come and face the government in whatsoever way, then we should be worried of the security of the country. We can only have a real peace. We can only have peace in South Sudan when we have all these people brought in. When we have the likes of Thomas Sirilo, the likes of Paul Malong, the likes of Pagana Mung, the likes of Nyal Deng Nyal, the likes of Wilson Deng, when we have all of them brought in and we address issues. But if we try to ignore them and we claim we are working towards lasting peace, then we are just wasting time. And this is the reality. Just assuming that the country is going to have an election, and we have these holdout groups out there still contesting the government, criticizing the government, standing every time firmly against the regime. We have these people, and the government, the transitional government, is actively planning on having an election next year. How are we going to have an election? How are those leaders, how are the aspirants going to traverse across the country to campaign looking for votes when we have these people out there? What if they attack people on the way? What if on the election day these people go and attack people on the polling station? What if they go and even attack this polling station and carry all the ballot papers? I mean, common sense. There is a huge possibility of this happening. A huge possibility that whereas the country is going to have an election, on the election day, we will have the ballot papers taken out. We will have the polling stations attacked. We will have the candidates traversing across the country looking for votes attacked. And this is so dangerous. So I feel for South Sudan to have a lasting peace, there must be a deliberate move by the current government, SPLM-IO, or SPLM in government, the South Sudan Opposition Alliance, the former detainees, those who form the government today. It's very important for them to realize the importance of the holdout groups, the individuals who are still outside there, who are still issuing words of threats, who are still having small attacks on the roads leading to different regions or states, who are still, encouraging intercommunal fights out there. That is the major problem. So for South Sudan to realize a lasting peace, there must be a deliberate move to bring everyone in. Thank you. On our business section for today, are you a South Sudanese parent living in Uganda who desires to preserve your child's national identity, cultural values, and academic continuity without sending them back to South Sudan? Then worry no more. Excel International School proudly offers South Sudanese families in Uganda the opportunity to access the South Sudan national curriculum in a secure, nurturing, and academically enriching environment right in Uganda. As you pursue stability and opportunity in Uganda, your children can continue their education seamlessly following the South Sudan syllabus, guided by qualified, experienced teachers who understand both the academic standards and cultural foundations of South Sudan. At Excel, they deliver genuine South Sudan curriculum, strong moral and academic foundation, experienced and culturally grounded educators, safe and supporting learning environment, and convenient campuses both in Kampala and Arua. For the Kampala campus, they are located at Zambia opposite the American Embassy, or you can contact the principal at 077-168-2831 or 074-2288-712. And the Arua campus is located at Adalafu in Arua City, or you can contact the management at 077-3498-768. Admission for the 2026 and registration for the 2026 academic year is ongoing. Parents are encouraged to register early as places are limited. Give your children an education that connects them to home, heritage, and hope without borders. Excel International School. Fear God to excel.